I respect y'all for that.
Well,
But I mean, if this will change your opinion, peach or grape?
Peach.
peach.
Absolutely. Wow, that was a consensus.
Yeah, honestly, I was surprised. It is the right choice, and y'all do it. Y'all should both know.
We're gonna do a new series soon with Marat. We can advertise.
Shit.
Marat's going to, I think we're gonna call it According to Marat. So Dr. According to Marat. So we already have Harry Potter According to Marat. Film.
Oh wait, you still have that?
Yeah.
Of course, because
It's
it's
probably horrible.
legendary.
It's a classic.
I know you want to see it.
So why don't we do the last 2 chapters, books 8 and 9, According to Marat. You can have Allison's job for today.
Wait.
Recap.
So, there is Achilles. He is in a tent, but then other guys are like, "Hey, Achilles, help us with things." But Achilles is like, "Hey, I have my boyfriend, and he's pretty cool, and we're kind of having a good time right now. And like, you guys are just kind of assholes. I don't like y'all. So like, except for that one guy, he's cool. This Silicon, Syphilis.
Phoenix?
Sorry, what's his name? Starts with S. Psycho. No. I'm just gonna look at it.
I think you mean Phoenix.
Sikitides. Nope. Sulco. Hercules. What is his name? Either way, he's. Huh?
I don't know who you're talking about.
No, he's like, like all y'all are assholes. Like Ajax, like you weird, you're big, and the other guy's like, yo, like you're Ajax's friend, like I don't mess with you. But then he's like, but you're the last guy though, like you were like my uncle, dad, something. You were like something to me, so
Yeah.
like you
His
can
name's
stay.
Phoenix.
Phoenix, yes, that's yes, exactly, Phoenix, yes, I was very
Yeah,
close.
Phoenix with an S.
Phoenix is cool, and then the other guy's cool, so it's not, him and Achilles are in the tent, God knows what they're doing, and the other 2, I guess, went back, I don't know what they did, and like, they didn't do their job, so now they're going back, and then, I guess Athena did something, I don't know, Athena's probably just like, been like, can I do things? And Zeus was like, no, please don't. And then, I have no idea.
That's good.
Was it? Okay, good.
Yeah, Zeus was like, no, don't. I will.
Oh, cool. All right. Oh, yeah, Zeus, like, does stuff. And they're like, yo, why do you get to do stuff? And he's like,
I'm dad.
yeah.
Good. Yes. Now the one piece of information that's very important is why do we need Achilles now more than ever?
He's gonna kill Hecco.
Yes, but why do we need that to happen like right now?
Hector's like strong as shit.
Are they like closer?
Are they winning? Are they losing?
I'm gonna guess like losing.
Yeah.
Just flip a coin. Losing.
Yes, the Trojans.
Got him.
Hey, he's got it.
But the Trojans are camped right outside the Achaeans.
Oh yeah, they can't leave because the Trojans are like, yo, like your boat side belong to us. Like, don't be like that.
Exactly.
All right, dude. Got it. Easy.
So that's where we leave it. The Trojans are really close. Everyone's super nervous. Achilles refuses still to fight. So Agamemnon is tossing and turning at night, unable to fall asleep because he's so nervous. What's that? Alec got the picture of the beans that you sent, and he's like,
Alex.
Happy Halloween.
That's such an accurate response to that. It's just stressful. It's so out of focus. Oh, this is a very accurate description of the Nalta experience. Anyway,
okay, so this chapter is called Marauding Through the Night.
Oh, it's me.
They need a map. For marauding. Martyrs map. All right, through the night. Book 10. All right, so it's nighttime. So, by the ships, the other lords of Achaea's armies slept all night long, overcome by gentle sleep, but not the great field marshal Agamemnon. The sweet embrace of sleep could not hold him. His mind kept churning, seething, like Zeus's bolts when the lord of bright-haired Hera flashes lightning, threatening to loose torrential rain or pelting hail, or snow when a blizzard drifts on fields, or driving on, somewhere on earth, the giant jaws of rending war. So thick and fast the groans came from Atrides, wrenching his chest, heaving up from his heart, and rocked his very spirit to the core. So we can't sleep.
Oh.
Now, as he scanned across the Trojan plain, Agamemnon marveled in horror at those fires, 1,000 fires blazing against the walls of Troy, and the shrill of pipes and flutes and low roar of men. And now as he glanced back at Achaea's troops and ships, he tore out his hair by the roots. He looked to Zeus on high, groaning from the depths of his proud, embattled heart. But soon this recourse struck his mind as best. He would go and approach the son of Neleus first, and see if Nestor could work out something for him, some foolproof plan that just might ward disaster off the Achaean forces. So he sees the fires, everyone's really close, he can hear the Trojan troops sleeping, like they're very, very close by. So he's freaking out, justifiably. In the morning, they're probably all going to die. So he's going to go talk to Nestor, see if they can figure out a plan. So he rose up quickly, and over his chest he pulled a battle shirt. Under his smooth feet, he fastened supple sandals. Round him slung the glossy hide of a big tawny lion, swinging down to his heels, and grasped a spear. And the same anguish shook Menelaus too. No sleep could settle over his eyes, not now. He feared his men might meet the worst at last, comrades who crossed a waste of seas for him to raise Troy and mount their fierce assault. First he covered his broad back with a leopard skin, a fine spotted hide, then lifted his round helmet of good sturdy bronze. He fitted it to his head. He took a spear in his grip, and off he strode to rouse his brother, king of all the Argives, the armies that prized him in his power like a god. And Menelaus found him alongside the ship's stern, strapping his handsome gear around his shoulders. Agamemnon warmed with pleasure as he came up, but Menelaus, lord of the war cry, ventured first. Okay, Colin has his wisdom teeth out. He is not going to read today. Sad boy. We need a Menelaus.
I'll do it.
War cry first.
Okay.
Can we get a war cry?
He's
Yes.
He doesn't work right now, does he?
no, he's just the lord of the war cry, but he's
He's just Lord of the War Cry. Oh, my bad.
everyone's asleep still.
Yeah. Nice.
Everyone's asleep. It's like,
And just come out war cry. All right.
All right.
All right. Why arming now, my brother, to spur a volunteer to spy on Trojan lines? Not a man in sight will take that mission on, I fear, and to go against our enemies, scout them out alone in the bracing God-sent night. It will take a daring man to do the job.
They both have the same idea of sending a spy into the Trojan ranks. King Agamemnon answered crisply.
Tactics, my noble Menelaus. That's what we need now, you and I both, and cunning tactics too. Something to shield and save our men and ships, since Zeus's heart has turned. His mighty heart is set on Hector's offerings more than ours. I've never seen or heard tell of a single man wreaking so much havoc in one day as Hector, Zeus's favorite, wreaks against our troops, and all on his own. No son of god or goddess. He's made a slaughter, I tell you. Pain for Achaeans, enough to last us down the years to come. What blows he's dealt our men. Go now, call Ajax, Idomenea, quickly. Make a run for it down along the ships. I'll go after Nestor, wake and rouse him, see if the good man wants to join the guard with that strong contingent and give them orders. He's the one they'll obey. His own son commands the sentry line. He and Idomeneus' aide of Meriones. They, above all, we put those men in charge.
The lord of the war cry nodded.
Yes, fine. But what orders for me? Do I stay with them, waiting for you to come, or follow you on the run once I've given the captains your command?
The marshal made things clearer.
You stay there, so we don't miss one another rushing back and forth in the endless maze of pathways up and down the camp. But shout wherever you go, tell them to stay awake, and call each man by his name and his father's line. Show them all respect. Not too proud now, we are the ones who ought to do the work. On our backs from the day that we were born, it seems that Zeus has piled his pack of hardships.
With his order clear, he sent his brother off, while he went after Nestor, the old commander. He found him beside his black ship and shelter, stretched on a fleecy bed, his blazoned gear at hand, his shield and 2 long spears and burnished helmet. His war belt lay beside him, gleaming in all its fire. The old man cinched it on whenever he'd harness up, marching his men to war where fighters die. Nestor gave no ground to withering old age. He propped himself on an elbow, craned his head, and probed sharply, whispering through the dark.
Who goes there? Stalking on the ships, along through camp in the very dead of night, when other mortals try to catch him sleep. Tracking a stray mule or a lost companion? Speak! Don't steal on me in silence. What do you want?
The lord of men, Agamemnon, reassured him.
Nestor, son of Neleus, glory of Achaea, don't you recognize Agamemnon, the one man past all others Zeus has plunged in troubles? Year in, year out, for as long as the life breath fills my lungs and the spring in my knees will lift me. I roam this way since sleep won't close my eyes. War's my worry, the agonies of our Achaeans. How I fear for our comrades, fear the worst. My mind is torn, I'm harried back and forth, the heart inside me pounding through my chest and the sturdy legs beneath me giving way. But if you want action now, sleeping is just as hard for you, it seems. Come, let's go down to the sentry line and see if, numb with exhaustion, lack of sleep, they've nodded off, all duty wiped from their minds, the watch dissolved. Our blood enemies camp hard by. How do we know they're not about to attack us in the night?
Yeah, a couple things. Agamemnon thinks that he, above all others, has been plunged in trouble. He
We
can
like so hard.
Yeah, he brought everything upon himself.
I mean, yeah. Good old Aggie.
So secondly, he's like, let's go send some people into the camp, because how do we know that they're not gonna do the same thing and attack us in the night? So we've got to take the first move. And the old charioteer, Nestor, warmed to his challenge.
Great martial Atrides, lord of men Agamemnon. Hector and Hector's high hopes? Not a chance. The plans of Zeus. Is that how you say it in English?
Zeus, yeah.
Zeus. All right. The plans of Zeus will never bring them off. Those dreams of glory inspire Hector now. Oh, I think he'll have his troubles to shoulder. Plenty of them, too. If Achilles ever turns away from the heartbreaking anger deep inside him. Fall of you? Surely. Let's wake others also. Diomedes famed for his spear. Odysseus, quick little Ajax, and Phyleus' brave son. And if only one would go and call the rest. Giant Ajax, strong as a god, and King Idomeneus, they're hardly close. Their ships last on the line. But I will blame Menelaus. Like, loved as he is and honored, even if you will wheel on me in anger, I must. I can't handle it now. How that fellow sleeps. Turning over the work to you alone. Now is the time for him to work, to hunt the leading captains and beg them all for help. Desperate straits. We can't hold out much longer.
The Lord of Men replied,
You're right, old soldier. I'd even urge you to fault him any other day. So often he hangs back with no heart for the work. Not that he shrinks from action, skittish or off guard. It's just that he looks to me, waiting for me to make the first move. This time, though, he woke before me, came and roused me first, and I sent him off to call the men you're after. So let's move out, overtake the rest of the gates, with the sentries where I ordered them to group.
Yeah, so it is a good point. You'd think Menelaus would be in charge, but it's pretty obvious through reading the book that Agamemnon is kind of leading the army, even though Menelaus, it's his wife that we're fighting for, but Agamemnon is kind of the one in charge. Yeah. And Nestor, the noble charioteer, assented gladly.
True! I'm Nestor, right? Alright. True, when the man leaps into the branch that way, no one can blame or disobey him. No Achaean. Not when he spurs the troops and gives commands.
With that, he slipped his tunic over his chest. Under his smooth feet, he fastened supple sandals, pinned with a brooch his crimson cape around him. Flowing in double folds and topped with thick fleece, and gripping a tough spear tipped with a brazen point, he strode along the ships of the Argives armed in bronze. And reaching Odysseus first, a mastermind like Zeus, the old driver roused him from sleep, shouting out,
Oh, wake up!
so he goes to Odysseus's tent and he just yells, "Wake up!"
Wake up!
The cry went ringing through his ears, and out of his tent Odysseus came, shouting in return. So I'll be Odysseus. Why, prowling around the ships and camp, you alone in the bracing God-sent night? What's the crisis now? What troubles come? And Nestor, the noble charioteer, replied,
Royal son of Laertes, Odysseus, great tactician. No time for anger now. Such misery has overcome our Argives. Follow us, come, so we can wake the next man. Some captain fit to map our strategy here, whether we break and run or stand up and fight.
Backing into his tent, the great tactician slung his wrought shield on his back and joined the party, striding toward the son of Tydeus, Diomedes. They found him with all his gear outside his shelter, cohorts sleeping round him, shields beneath their heads, spears stuck straight in the ground on butt-end spikes, and the bronze points flashing into the distance like forked lightning flung by Father Zeus. But the veteran fighter lay there, fast asleep, the cured hide of a field ox spread beneath him. A lustrous blanket stretched beneath his head. The old charioteer moved in and woke him roughly, dug a heel in his ribs, chiding him to his face.
Up with you, Diomedes. What, sleep all night? Haven't you heard? Trojans hold the high ground. Over the beachhead there, camped against the ships. Only a narrow strip to keep off sudden death.
Trojans have the high ground.
They underestimate their power, bro.
So he prodded, and Diomedes woke from sleep with a quick start and a burst of winging words.
A hard man you are. Old soldier hard. You never give up the good fight, do you? Where are the younger troopers? Now we need them. Why don't they go wake each king in turn, padding softly up and down through camp? You, old man, you'd overpower us all.
And Nestor, the noble driver, answered warmly.
Right you are, my friend, straight to the point. Sons I have, and they're hardy, handsome boys, and comrades too. Men aplenty. One of the lot could light out now and summon up the kings. But now a crisis has overwhelmed our armies. Our fate, I tell you, stands on a razor's edge. Life or death for Achaea. Gruesome death at that. Up with you. Wake quick, little Ajax. Megas too. You're so much younger. Come, pity an old man.
And around his back, Diomedes flung the hide of a big tawny lion, swinging down to his heels. He grasped a spear, and the fighter strode away and roused those men to leave their beds and march. I guess Diomedes doesn't have smooth feet with which to put on supple sandals.
There's some kind of meaning about all these animal skins. Like, are the ones wearing lions like brave, and the one that was on an ox skin like stocky and strong? Or is it just like he likes talking about dead animals?
It's mainly that, I think. It's like, yo, I hate oxes, I hate lions.
Lions, leopards, oxes, sheep.
Please just kill
Like
all
all
of
their skins.
them. Yeah, this guy was really anti-vegan.
For sure, the lions are with kings. I mean, they're all kind of kings. All of them named characters, more or less, are kings. But
Oh, what? Really?
yeah, I mean, they all have their tiny little kingdoms.
Oh, I see. So they're not just warriors, man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, Achilles is a prince. He's still young. Patroclus is also a prince. Patroclus. Menelaus and Odysseus and Agamemnon and Diomedes, I think, they're all kings, or at least in line to being kings.
Oh, I see.
Is killing a lion like a rite of passage?
I don't know. That's a good question. There used to
Yeah.
be lions in Greece, like European lions, like slightly different species, and Yeah, it may be.
It's probably some like pride.
It's probably based on Hercules because of the Nemean lion. Hercules wore
Oh, you're right.
a lion cape. Yeah.
You're right.
So it's probably something like aligning
Mm.
them with Hercules. Heracles.
Mm.
Look that up.
Can we also talk about the feet for a second? Because like I can't imagine that your feet are smooth when you're like in war. Is there like I also can't imagine there's like a spa nearby. Like I imagine your feet are
They just
gross.
bro, they have proper moisturizer they're using. They just take good care of that feet.
Right?
All night scrubbing, dude. So, you know, wars on the ground is rough, so they scrub your feet.
Yeah, I don't know. I suppose salt water and sand is good exfoliant.
Okay.
I gotta say, that would be an interesting thing to dive into, like the beauty standards of the time and how they manage as kids.
It could be like these guys have ridden on horses or chariots, so they didn't have to walk as far as all the like flip.
Oh, all these peasants with their stinky, weird feet had to take the fall. See, who's the real hero here?
Do a deep dive into like the fashion choices of
Yeah.
Iliad.
I'm really curious about like the smell of these tents, frankly, personally. Like, having slept with many men before, I can't even imagine a medieval man, bro. What was growing in there, bro? My God.
We'll have to remember all this when we watch and review the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, in the movie, oh my God, does it look stinky?
Guys, check out their feet.
Achilles is dirty in the movie, bro. Even though he's Brad Pitt. Oh man, I'm sure he stinks like 7 sewers combined. I saw this movie way too many times. I have like details that I'm not gonna share.
Okay.
Wait, when are we watching the movie? After this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You don't want spoilers, even though it's.
Sorry about the smell spoilers, bro. Prepare your Yeah, dude.
I'll be right back. You can keep going without me.
Okay.
I will not. I will go nowhere without Colin. I will not leave this house. Well, I guess I don't.
So they're waking everyone up, and they have got nice feet.
You've got nice feet. Actually, we referred to this before. Didn't someone have like glistening feet?
Yes, Achilles' mother has glistening.
Oh, dude, can we have like a Quentin Tarantino analysis of this movie? His feet scenes, bro.
We've all got like Achilles is a swift runner. Sometimes it's his title is like Achilles with the swift feet, stuff like that.
Oh, dude, is Homer like the Quentin Tarantino of the time?
Yes.
Yes. I'm sorry to interrupt. Please go
on. And now they filed among the mustered guard. They found the chief sentries far from sleep, on the alert, all stationed set with weapons, like sheepdogs keeping watch on flocks in folds. A nervous, bristling watch when the dogs get wind of a wild beast rampaging down the mountain timber, crashing through the pens, and the cries break as he charges, a din of men and dogs, and their sleep is broken, gone. And so the welcome sleep was routed from their eyes, guardsmen keeping the long, hard watch that night, always turning toward the plain, tense to catch some sign of the Trojans launching an attack. The old chariot driver, Nestor, warmed to the sight and cheered them on with urgings flying fast.
Keep it up, my boys. That's the way to watch. Not one of you submit to the grip of sleep. You'd give great joy to the men who'd take our lives.
With that, the driver clambered through the trench. They took the old captain's lead, the Argive kings, all called to the muster now. And flanking them, Meriones came in haste with Nestor's handsome son. The kings had summoned both to share their counsel. Crossing out over the deep trench, they grouped on open ground, where they chanced to find a sector free and clear of corpses. In fact, the very place where Hector in all his power had veered and turned away from cutting Argives down when the night closed in. So by chance, they happened to meet in the same place that Hector met with the Trojans in the last book, or maybe 2 books ago. Yeah. So it's this place where there happens to be not too many corpses, so they meet here.
Oh.
So that's how close they are, though. Like they're both. Yeah. So there they
Absolutely.
settled, conferring among themselves till the noble horseman opened with his plan.
Okay, I'm sorry. My friends, isn't there one man among us here, so sure of himself, his soldier's nerve and pluck, he'd infiltrate these overreaching Trojans. Perhaps he'd seize a stagger among the foe, or catch some rumor floating along their lines. What plans are they mapping? What maneuvers next? Are they bent on holding tight by the ships exposed, or heading home to Troy? Now they've trounced our armies. Oh, now they've trounced our armies. Okay. If a man could gather that, then make it back unharmed, why? What glory he'd gain across the whole wide earth in the eyes of every man, and what a gift he'd win. All the lords who command the ships of battle, each and every one, will give him a black Eve suckling a young lamb. No prize of honor like it. They'll ask that man to every feast and revel.
So
One second.
a ewe is a female sheep.
Thank you. A you?
Ewe, yeah.
That's not how you pronounce the way you spell that, bro. Okay, either way, what does trounced mean? Did I spell that right?
Yeah, trounced is like taken over, destroyed.
You. And then you. Let's see. Is that kind of like a Ewan McGregor kind of thing?
A ewe and a what?
And then Ewan, what is it? Ewan McGregor?
Ewe and
Obi-Wan. Who's
Um,
Obi-Wan?
Sure. I guess I don't know if his name means that.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Okay.
Ewan
This is
McGregor.
okay. I had one more question. Never mind. I lost it. I'll just Google it. Go on.
Okay. Yes. So they're gonna try to figure out what the Trojans are planning. Gonna infiltrate these Trojans. So Nestor proposed. All ranks held their peace, but Diomedes, Lord of the War Cry, is also Lord of the War Cry, so it's good Darian has both of them, spoke up briskly.
Nestor, the mission stirs my fighting blood. I'll slip right into enemy lines at once. These Trojans camped at our flank. If another comrade would escort me, though, there'd be more comfort in it, confidence too. When two work side by side, one or the other spots the opening first if a kill's at hand. When one looks out for himself, alert but alone, his reach is shorter. His sly moves miss the mark.
Yeah, so I want to go, but I need someone to go with me. At that, a crowd volunteered to go with Diomedes. The two Aenetes, old campaigners, volunteered. Mariones.
Meriones.
Meriones volunteered.
Meriones.
And Nestor's son leapt up, and Menelaus, the famous spearman, volunteered, and battle-hardened Odysseus too, to foray into the Trojan units camped for the night. Odysseus's blood was always up for exploit, but King Agamemnon interceded quickly.
Diomedes, soldier after my own heart, pick your comrade now, whomever you want, the best of the volunteers. How many long to go? But no false respect. Don't pass over the better man and pick the worst. Don't bow to a soldier's rank and I to his birth, even if he's more kingly.
He suddenly feared for red-haired Menelaus, but Diomedes, strong with the war cry, answered.
Is that an order? Pick my own comrade? Then how could I pass up royal Odysseus here? His heart's so game, his fighting edge is so keen, the best of us all in every combat mission. Athena loves the man. With him at my side, we'd go through fire and make it back alive. No one excels the mastermind of battle.
But much enduring Odysseus cut him short. Not too long on the praise. Don't fault me either. You're talking to Argive men who know my record. Let's move out. The night is well on its way and daybreak is near. The stars go wheeling by, and full of the dark is gone. 2 watches down, but the third still ours for action. On that note, both men harnessed up in the grim gear of war. Thrasymedes, staunch in combat, handed Tydeus' son a 2-edged sword. He'd left his own on the ship. A shield, too, and over his head he set a helmet, bull's hide, bare of ridgen crest, a skull cap, so it's called, and made to protect the heads of tough, young-blooded fighters. Meriones gave Odysseus bow, quiver, and sword, and over his head he set a helmet made of leather. Inside it was crisscrossed, taut with many thongs. Outside, the gleaming teeth of a white-tusked boar ran round and round in rows stitched neat and tight, a master craftsman's work. The cap in its center padded soft with felt. The wolf himself, Autolycus, lifted that splendid headgear out of Elon once. He stole it from Ormenius' son Eminentor night ago. All right, we don't need the history of this helmet. It's a helmet.
Dude, you need to know this detail, bro. So, like, sick helmet.
All right, so
Wait, who's getting the helmet? So I missed that whole thing.
Odysseus.
Oh, okay, good.
And so, both harnessed up in the grim gear of war, the two men moved out, leaving behind them all the captains clustered on the spot. Athena winged a heron close to their path and veering right. Neither man could see it, scanning the dark night. They only heard its cry. Glad for the lucky sign, Odysseus prayed to Pallas. Hear me, daughter of Zeus, whose shield is thunder, standing by me always in every combat mission. No maneuver of mine slips by you. Now again, give me your best support. Athena, comrade, grant our return and glory back to the warships once we've done some feat that brings the Trojans pain. Next, Diomedes, lord of the war cry, prayed aloud.
Hear me too, daughter of Zeus, tireless goddess. Be with me now, just as you went with father, veteran Tydeus, into Thebes that day. He ran ahead of the Argives with his message. He left his armored men along the Asopus banks and carried a peaceful word to Theban cohorts crowded in their halls. But turning back, he bent to some grand and grisly work with you, goddess, and you stood by him then, a steadfast ally. So come, stand by me now, protect me now. I will make you a sacrifice, a yearling heifer, broad in the brow, unbroken, never yoked by men. I'll offer it up to you. I'll sheathe its horns in gold.
Their prayers rose, and Pallas Athena heard them. Once they'd appealed to Zeus's mighty daughter, into the black night they went, like two lions, stalking through carnage and corpses, through piles of armor and black pools of blood. Scene change over to the Trojans. But no sleep for the headstrong Trojans either. Hector would not permit it. He summoned all his chiefs to a council of war, all Trojan lords and captains. Mustering them, he launched his own crafty plan.
Wait one sec. Who will undertake a mission and bring it all for a pricely gift? A price to match exploit. I'll give him a chariot, 2 horses with strong necks, the best of breeds beside Achaeans' fast ships. Whoever will dare, what glory he can win. A night patrol by the ships to learn at once if the fleet's still guarded as before or now. Now battered down at our hands, huddling together. Then they play a quick escape, their morale too low to mount the watch tonight, bone weary from battle.
So coincidentally, Hector has the same idea as the Achaeans do, to have a stealth mission.
It's kind of funny.
So Hector proposed. All ranks held their peace, but there was a man among the troops, one Dolon. This guy. Dolan.
Oh.
He's the special one.
Yeah, clearly.
One Dolon. A son of the sacred Trojan herald Eumedes. He was rich in bronze, rich in bars of gold, no feast for the eyes, but lightning on his feet, and an only son in the midst of 5 sisters. This one volunteered among the Trojans.
Hector, this mission stirs my fighting blood. I'll reconnoiter the ships and gather all I can. Come, raise that scepter and swear you'll give me the battle team and the burnished brazen car that carry great Achilles. I will be your spy, and no mean scout, I'll never let you down. I'll infiltrate their entire army, I will, all the way till I reach the ship of Agamemnon. That's where the captains must be mapping tactics now, whether they'll break and run or stand and fight.
How he bragged, and Hector, grasping his scepter, swore a blinding oath.
Now Zeus my witness, thundering lord of Hera, no other Trojan fighter will ride behind that team. None but you. I swear, they will be your glory all your life to come.
So Dolan will do it, but if Hector gets Achilles' horses, which are awesome, And I think
Which is sick.
they can talk actually.
What?
Oh,
Like, yo,
Get
what's
that.
up? Like, yo, word.
We'll get to them. So he's like,
Please skip to that part.
if I kill Achilles, you can have his horses. That's fine, whatever.
his talking horses.
Oh my god, Achilles is talking. Dude, that's my favorite fact about Achilles. That's not in the movie. Why is that not in the movie? Idiots.
Because the movie's horrible.
The movie's trash. How do you miss talking horses? Either way, go on.
So
Sorry.
Hector vowed, with an oath he swore in vain. But it spurred the man to action. Dolan leapt to it. He quickly slung a reflex bow on his back, over it threw the pelt of a grey wolf, and set on his head a cap of weasel skin, and taking a sharp spear, moved out from camp, heading toward the fleet. Spoilers, but he was never to come back from the enemy's beaked ships bringing Hector news. Putting the mass of horse and men behind him, Dolan picked up speed, hot for action now, but keen as a god, Odysseus saw him coming, and alerted Diomedes. Who is this? A man heading out of the Trojan camp? What? I can't be sure. To spy on our ships? Or loot the fallen, one of the fighters' corpses? Let him get past us first, into the clear a bit, then rush him and overtake him double quick. If he outruns us, crowd him against the ships. Cut him off from his lines, harry him with your spear, and never stop so he can't bolt back to Troy. No more words. Swerving off the trail, they both lay face down with the corpses now. As Dolan sped by at a dead run, the fool, they lay down between these dead bodies.
Yeah, Dolan's a bad spy. He just sprints in.
Yeah,
Dolan, bro.
right by them.
He's just Dolan.
Soon as Dolan got a furlong's lead ahead, the plowing range of a good team of mules, faster than draft oxen dragging a bolted plow through deep fallow ground, the two raced after, and Dolan, hearing their tread, froze, stock still, his heart leaping. Here were friends, yes, fellow Trojans coming to turn him back. Yes, Hector had just called off the mission. But soon as they were a spear cast off or less, he saw them, enemies. Quick as a flash he sprang, fleeing for dear life. They sprang in pursuit as a pair of rook-toothed hounds, bred for the hunt, and flushing fawn or hare through a woodsy glen keep closing in for the kill, non-stop, as the prey goes screaming on ahead. So Odysseus, raider of cities, and Diomedes cut him off from his own lines, coursing him, closing non-stop with a Trojan about to break in on a line of sentries, racing fast from the ships, when Athena poured fresh strength in Tydeus' son, so no Achaean could beat him out for the glory of hitting Dolan first. Diomedes came in second. So, middle of the page, when he goes into like Dolan's inner monologue, it's called free and direct discourse. Basically, it means that the narrator takes on the voice of a character.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah. So it's not like, here we're friends, he thought. It's just like the narrator says it, like through Dolan's head.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it didn't like catch on until the Victorian era.
Oh, so this is like way early.
Yeah. And it may just be like this is how the translator's interpreting it, but it's a really cool moment.
Do you think there's any kind of like significance to that beyond just like rhetoric?
I think partially usually everyone's with somebody else, so they just like monologue about their feelings, but Dolan's alone at the moment.
Oh, it's kind of a cool way to sing. Because I was going to say, in this entire story, there's never been a moment where someone was alone. And there's never been a moment where someone's not giving a speech.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool, like the silence is filled up when there's actually someone alone.
For sure.
That's cool. I like that. Okay, I like that.
Yeah, there's a ton of action in this book. I think because of that, like everyone has to be quiet and everyone's kind of alone. Yeah. It's neat.
Nice.
So in any case, they've got him. So Odysseus and Diomedes catch Dolan. Rushing him with his spear in a sudden surge, Tydides shouted,
Stop!
Wait, what?
Or I'll run you through. You'll never escape my spear. Headlong death. I swear I'll send it hurling from my fist.
He flung his shaft, missing the man on purpose. Over his right shoulder, the sharp spear point winged and stabbed the earth. Dead in his tracks, he stopped, terrified, stammering, teeth chattering in his mouth. Bled white with fear as the two men overtook him, and panting hard, yanked and pinned his arms. He burst into tears, pleading,
Take me alive. I'll ransom myself. Treasures cram our house, bronze and gold and plenty of well-wrought iron. Father would give you anything gladly, priceless ransom, if only he learns I'm still alive in Argive ships.
Oh.
Oh, Dolan.
Oh, Dolan.
Odysseus, quick with tactics, answered, Courage. Death is your last worry. Put your mind at rest. Come, tell me the truth now, point by point. Why prowling among the ships, cut off from camp, alone in the dead of night when other men are sleeping? To loot the fallen, one of the fighters' corpses? Or did Hector send you out to spy on our ships, reconnoiter them stem to stern? Or did your own itch for glory spur you on? Now will Dolan be brave and protect the information of the Trojans?
No.
Dolan answered, his legs shaking under him.
Hector, he duped me so many mad blind hopes. He swore he'd give me the great Achilles stallions, purebred racers, his burnished bronze chariot too. He told me to go through the rushing dark night to patrol the enemy lines and learn at once if the fleet's still guarded as before or now. Battered down at our hands, huddling together, you plan a quick escape, your morale too low to mount the watch tonight, bone weary from battle.
Breaking into a smile, the cool tactician laughed. Ha ha! By God, what heroic gifts you set your heart on! The great Achilles team? They're hard for mortal men to curb or drive. For all but Achilles, his mother is immortal. Now out with it, point by point. Hector, where did you leave the captain when you came? Where is his war gear lying? Where's his chariot? How are the other Trojans posted? Guards? Sleepers? What plans are they mapping? What maneuvers next? Are they bent on holding tight by the ships, exposed? Or heading home to Troy, now they've trounced our armies? And Dolan, son of the herald, bursted out.
Yes, I'll tell you everything, down to the last detail. Hector's holding council with all his chiefs, mapping plans on old King Ilis's barrow, clear of the crowds at camp. Guards, my lord? Nothing. No one's picked to defend the army. Only our native Trojans hold their posts. Many as those with hearth fires back in Troy, our men have no choice, shouting out to each other, Stay awake, keep watch. But our far-flung friends, they're fast asleep. They leave the watch to us. Their wives and children are hardly camped nearby.
So the strategy that Odysseus is forming is like, okay, so the Trojans are on high alert, but their allies are not. So they might be where we're going to go to. But the shrewd tactician kept on pressing. Be precise. Where are they sleeping? Mixed in with the Trojans? Separate quarters? Tell me, I must know it all. And Dolan, son of the herald, kept on blurting.
Everything, anything, whatever will satisfy you. To seaward Carians, Paeonian men with bent bows, Leleges and Cauconians, crack Pelasgians, inland toward Thimbra, camp the Lycians, swaggering Mysians, fighting Phrygian horsemen, Maeonian chariot drivers. But why interrogate me down to the last platoon? You really want to raid some enemy units? There are Thracians, look, just arrived, exposed on the flank, apart from all the rest, and right in their midst Ionius' son, King Rhesus. His are the best horses I ever saw, the biggest, whiter than snow, and speed to match the wind. His chariots finished off with gold and silver, the armor he brought with him gold too. Tremendous equipment, what a marvelous sight. No gear for a mortal man to wear, I'd say. It's fit for the deathless gods. There. Now, will you take me to your ships, or leave me here bound and gagged right here, till you can make your raid and test my story, see if I've told the truth or I've been lying?
So they're going, the Thracians, whatever, they're a good target. They're asleep, they just got here, and they've got a lot of gold. But rugged Diomedes gave him a grim look.
Escape? Take my advice and wipe it from your mind. Good as your message is, you're in my hands now. What if we set you free and you should slip away? Back you'll slink to our fast ships tomorrow, playing the spy again or fighting face to face. But if I snuff your life out in my hands, you'll never annoy our Argive lines again.
With that, just as Dolan reached up for his chin to cling with a frantic hand and beg for his life, Diomedes struck him square across the neck. A flashing hack of the sword, both tendons snapped. and a shrieking head went tumbling into the dust.
I don't like that.
By
Oh, Dolan.
Bad work, Dolan.
yeah.
Yeah.
They tore the weasel cap from the head, stripped the wolf pelt, the reflex bow, and long tough spear, and swinging the trophies high to Pallas, queen of plunder, exultant royal Odysseus shouted out this prayer. Here, goddess, rejoice in these, they're yours. You are the first of all the gods we'll call. Now guide us again, Athena, guide us against that Thracian camp and horses. So Odysseus prayed, and hoisting the spoils over his head, heaved them into a tamarisk bush nearby, and against it heaped a good clear landmark, clumping together reeds and fresh tamarisk boughs they'd never miss as they ran back toward the rushing dark night. So they hide it, they'll grab it later. On they stalked through armor and black pools of blood, and suddenly reached their goal, the Thracian outpost. The troops were sleeping, weary from pitching camp, their weapons piled beside them on the ground, 3 neat rows of the burnished, well-kept arms, and beside each man his pair of battle horses. Right in the middle lay Rhesus, dead asleep, his white racers beside him, strapped by thongs to his chariot's outer rail. Spotting him first, Odysseus quickly pointed him out to Diomedes. Look, here's our man, and here are his horses, the ones marked out by the rascal we just killed. On with it now. Show us your strength, full force. Don't just stand there, useless with your weapons. Loose those horses, or you go kill the men and leave the team to me. Athena, eyes blazing, breathed fury in Diomedes, and he went whirling into the slaughter now, hacking left and right, and hideous groans broke from the dying Thracians slashed by the sword. The ground ran red with blood. As a lion springs on flocks unguarded, shepherd gone, pouncing on goats or sheep and claw-mad for the kill, so Tydeus' son went tearing into that Thracian camp until he'd butchered 12. Each man he'd stand above and chop with the sword. The great tactician Odysseus grappled from behind, grabbing the fighter's heels, dragging him out of the way with one thought in mind. That team with their flowing manes must get through fast, not quake at heart and balk, trampling over the dead. Those purebred horses still not used to corpses. So they've got to kill them and then get the corpses out of the way, or the horses will get too frightened on their way out when they steal the horses. But now the son of Tydeus came upon the king, the 13th man, and ripped away his life, his sweet life, as he lay there breathing hard. A nightmare hovered above his head that night. Diomedes himself, sped by Athena's battle plan, while staunch Odysseus loosed the stamping horses, hitched them together tight with their own reins, and drove them through the ruck, lashing them with his bow. He forgot to snatch the shining whip that lay in the well-wrought car. He whistled shrill, his signal to rugged Diomedes, pausing, deep in thought. Now Diomedes is also thinking, which is new for us to read thoughts. What was the worst, most brazen thing he could do? Seize the car where the handsome armor lay and pull it out by the pole, or prize it up, bodily haul it off, or tear the life from still more Thracian troops? His mind swarming with all this, Pallas Athena swept to his side and cautioned Diomedes.
Back think only of getting back, great son of Tydeus. That one, right?
Yep.
Good, okay. Back to the ships, quick, or you'll run for life. Some other god, who knows, may wake the Trojans.
The goddess's voice, he knew it, mounted at once, as Odysseus whacked the stallions smartly with his bow, and they made a run for Achaea's rapid ships. But Apollo, lord of the silver bow, kept watch. No blind man's watch, no. Apollo saw Athena take Tydeus in hand, and raging against her, plunged into the main mass of Trojan fighters to rouse a Thracian captain called Hippocoon, a loyal kinsman of Rhesus. He woke with a jolt, and seeing empty ground where the fast team had stood, men gasping out their lives, retching in all that carnage, he wailed out, sobbing, crying his dear companion's name, and piercing wails broke as the Trojans swirled in panic. A desperate rout of them rushing up to the bloodbath there, stood staring down at the grisly work the marauders did before they made their dash for the beaked ships. Reaching the place where they'd killed Hector's spy, Odysseus, dear to Zeus, reined in the headlong team, and, leaping down to the ground, Tydides heaved the bloody spoils into his comrade's arms. He mounted again and flogged the horses hard, and on they flew to the ships, holding nothing back. That's where their spirits drove them on to go. Nestor, the first to hear their thunder, shouted,
Friends, Lord of the Argives, all our captains, right or wrong, what can I say? My heart tells me, my ears ring with the din of drumming hoofs. If only Odysseus and rugged Diomedes were driving racers off Trojan lines here and fast. I'm cold with fear. What if they met the worst our ranking Argives killed in Trojan charge?
Before he could say the last, the two raced in, leapt to the ground, and comrades hugged them warmly, with hand clasps all around and words of welcome. Nestor, the noble horseman, led with questions.
Tell me, Odysseus, Achaea's pride and glory, famous Odysseus, how did you get these horses? How? Stealing behind the Trojans' main lines or meeting up with a god who gave them to you? What terrific sheen, silver of fire like sunbeams. Day after day, I've gone against the Trojans, never hanging back by the ships, I swear, old warrior that I am. But I've never seen such horses, never dreamed. I'd say an immortal came your way and gave you these. Zeus, who marshals the storm cloud, loves you both. Zeus's daughter, too, with the shield of thunder. Athena's eyes are shining on you both.
The cool tactician set the record straight.
Cool.
No, Nestor. Achaea's greatest glory, any god, if he really set his mind to it, could give us an even finer pair than this, easily. The gods are so much stronger. Now these horses you ask about, old soldier, they're newcomers just arrived from Thrace. Their master, brave Diomedes, killed him off, 12 of his cohorts, too, all men of rank, and a 13th man besides, a scout we took, prowling along the ships, spying on our positions. Hector and all his princely Trojans sent him out. And across the trench he drove the purebred team, with a rough, exultant laugh as comrades cheered, crowding in his wake. And once they'd reached Tydides' sturdy lodge, they tethered the horses there with well-cut reins, hitching them by the trough where Diomedes' stallions pawed the ground, champing their sweet barley. Then again in his ship's stern, Odysseus stowed the bloody gear of Dolon, in pledge of the gift they'd sworn to give Athena. The men themselves, wading into the sea, washed off the crusted sweat from shins and necks and thighs, and once the surf had scoured the thick, caked sweat from their limbs, the two fighters cooled, their hearts revived, and into the polished tubs they climbed and bathed. And rinsing off, their skins sleek with an olive oil rub, they sat down to their meal, and dipping up their cups from an overflowing bowl, they poured them forth, honeyed, mellow wine to the great goddess Athena.
I thought there were no spas.
Apparently there
Yeah, I
are.
was gonna say, now we know how they got those soft feet.
Yeah,
Olive
bro.
oil.
It's all that honey wine and that olive oil rub. I gotta say, olive oil rub is pretty solid. Not gonna lie. These guys kind of knew what they were doing.
Oh yeah.
Just saying. They knew what they was doing.
Got an olive oil rub?
Go
Yeah, bro.
Greeks.
Every day, bro. I'm having one right now. Well, no.
Huh.
Sometimes olive oil. Y'all ever do that? Is that a thing in America?
What?
Oil
Like
rub?
put olive oil in your hair, in your hands?
It's like a beauty tip you read online, but it's not like a common thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's like something you find like the Body Shop for $25.
Yeah.
It's just like extra virgin olive oil with skin glutamine.
So I think I picked up on something, but I'm not 100% sure.
What is it?
So are Odysseus and Diomedes the people that we hear about wearing the hides at the beginning? Because that would make a lot of sense, because then it talks a lot about them like really stalking the prey, and then we get the wolf hide from the guy they kill, and then it talks about them slaughtering people like a lion later.
That's good. They're not the only ones who wear the lions, because Nestor has one and the two Atrides have them, but they are both also wearing, I think, lion cloaks. And then they
Well,
kill.
one of them is ox.
They slept on an ox thing.
Oh. Okay. Well.
Yeah, then Diomedes so Diomedes slept on an ox thing, and then he put it on a big tawny lion. Odysseus,
Gotcha.
let me see what he's wearing. What are you wearing?
Audie, what you wearing?
It just says that he's wearing a shield. But he's probably wearing a lion's thing too.
Probably.
To be fair, Diomedes does all the killing, so
Gotcha.
yeah.
I think we always get like 7 paragraphs of guy like halfway putting on his helmet, but when you actually want to know something, information's not there.
Yeah.
I kind of like the animal motifs. You know, wear a horse. Is that a thing?
I don't think so. Horses are sacred to Poseidon.
Poseidon?
Yeah.
Seahorses? Why Poseidon? They got that messed up.
Right?
That has to be a typo.
For like leaping horses, like in The Last Unicorn when all the unicorns run into the ocean.
Mhm.
Excuse me, what is this reference?
It's a kids movie about unicorns that's creepy as hell.
This is like a Toys R Us version of a Ghibli movie. But so like why is Poseidon the horse god?
I don't know why, but he is. Actually, I think it's because. Hang on. I don't want to say this if it's wrong, but I'm pretty sure that I think that he may have like created the what are the flying ones?
Pegasi.
Pegasi. This was the child of Poseidon and Medusa.
What?
Yeah.
And he just gave
Well,
Medusa just gave birth to a horse.
yeah, Medusa gave birth to Pegasus, the child of.
Can you imagine? Oh my god.
I mean, can we just get real at the obvious thing here? Like, she cheated. Like, let's get like,
She cheated on him with a unicorn.
with the, yeah. But then where's the wings here?
Come from?
Where did the horse come from?
I mean, she cheated. I guess she had.
There's no part of Medusa that's like any part of Pegasus.
It's like, you know how like Medusa has like animals on her, and you know how like horses are animals.
Go on.
Pretty different.
When you just think about it, if you just think about it for a second,
We're thinking about it.
snakes lay eggs.
Oh, yeah, just like horses lay eggs.
Just like horses lay eggs. You know, it's a delicacy in Uganda.
Horse eggs?
Egg, they call it. So Poseidon and Medusa, they got down for whatever reason. And then Medusa gave birth to Pegasus.
Yep.
And then Hercules found this Pegasus.
Yeah, no. Perseus.
Perseus found it? Oh yeah, Perseus. Wait, doesn't Hercules also have Pegasus?
In the
How many
movie.
Pegasus?
In the movie, he has a Pegasus.
Oh, okay. There's just so who's Poseidon's dad?
Kronos.
Oh, Kronos?
Yeah.
Oh. Wait, so the Kronos just kind of like, you know, like tick, 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 like Zeus, Athena.
Yeah. Do you know the story of Zeus's birth?
I don't.
So Kronos had a prophecy that one of his children was going to take over and kick him out of ruling the world. So Kronos had these children, and the second that his wife had these children, he would eat them. So he ate Hera, Poseidon, Ares, like I think Ares, not Ares, whatever, a bunch of them. He just ate like 6 of the gods. And then Zeus was born, and before he could swallow Zeus, the mother hid him away on Earth. And then Zeus was raised by, I think the Fates. He was raised by someone else. And then maybe the nymphs, something like that. I'll put that in the video somewhere. I'll edit it in. And then
That kind of explains it.
then Zeus came up and he was like, you ate my brothers and sisters, and he kills him, stabs him open, and takes out his brothers and sisters because they were just living in his stomach.
Oh, but Kronos just kind of had them chilling there.
Yeah.
Oh, Kronos has terrible indigestion, bro.
And then Zeus locked Kronos in Tartarus, which is down where Hades lives, and
Right. And they're
Zeus
homies.
took over.
Oh, so wait. Hades just wait. Who's Hades' dad?
Hades was another one, yeah. So Kronos also had Hades.
Oh, Kronos had Hades, but then he became Hades' slave, I guess. Like, what would you call him? Like, prisoner?
So then the three
Hades? Sick.
most powerful gods, which were Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades, draw straws, basically. Zeus wins control of everything. Poseidon gets control of the sea, and then the Hades gets control of the underworld.
I see. Is there like a ground god kind of deal?
There
Like,
was
who controls land?
Gaia, who was control of Earth, and then the sky. There's so many gods, my dude.
So many gods. I kind of like it.
Yeah.
And then who kills Kronos?
Well, so the gods can never really die, but Kronos is imprisoned in Tartarus.
I see. Oh, okay. Well, he dies in God of War. Does that count?
No.
Dude, we should get a classics professor in here and make him play God of War.
I'll play God of War.
Yeah, I was like, isn't that Christina?
Oh, wait, Christina's a master's. Christina, play God of War.
Like,
And
Like.
subscribe.
comment.
Like, comment, subscribe. If you want to see more Ottoman Sultans and their hats, leave a link in the comments.
Probably won't see much more of that, actually.
This
What
is
is
the new direction
classic?
this channel's going.
Say what classics do you want us to do in the future?
What classics do you like? What video games do you want us to play instead of actually doing what we're supposed to do?
Classic video games.
Classic
All
video
about
games.
mythology.
Nickelodeon Claymation.
Nickelodeon animations, those are good.
Classic.
Yeah, we'll do literally whatever you ask.
That's the game we're at.